Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Coach Chanae, and on this channel you'll find anything between faith and mindset and even some coaching tips just to help women become the best versions of themselves. So if you are new here and you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I'm trying to get my subscribers up. You can expect content from me here at least once a week with some new content types coming very soon. So thank you for watching and let's get into it. So based off of my last couple of videos, I didn't really get a lot of response on if you guys liked or didn't like the structure, but I did get one comment. Shout out to that one commenter who said that they liked the structure of the videos where I'm reading off my newsletter and then getting deeper into a biblical reference to it and then talking about a personal experience. So I'm going to keep doing that until you guys tell me that you hate it or until God just really speaks to me. So today I want to talk about God's track record. I think it's so easy for us to get into a situation, a scenario, a challenge, something hard, and for us to genuinely forget that we got through a hard thing before. God has gotten us through so many trials and tribulations in our lifetime. So why wouldn't he do it again? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't he do it again? So I definitely wanted to just talk about how we need to be cognizant of that. And that's going to help activate our faith even more as well, because we can just trust that he is going to make a way when it feels like there is no way to be made. And I'm sure all of us, if you have breath in your lungs, you have been able to get out of a situation before in your life. And if you haven't got through it yet, you still have breath in your lungs another day to keep working toward accomplishing that goal, to keep trying to overcome that situation. So there is hope and you have to keep your faith. So first, I want to talk about my newsletter and just share with you what I wrote about this topic. And honestly, I was trying to be too professional and pretend I wasn't reading off my computer, but I'm just going to read off my computer. And if you want to see it in real life, you can subscribe, and the link is in the bottom or in the description if you want to subscribe to the actual email. So anyway, so the title of my newsletter is It's Not the End. I was thinking about this the other day. There have been so many moments in my life where I genuinely did not know how things were going to work out. No clear plan, no perfect next step, just trying to figure it out as I went. And somehow I did. Maybe not in the way I expected, maybe not as quickly as I wanted, but I got through it. And if you're honest, you have too. You have already lived through things that once felt overwhelming, situations that kept you up at night, seasons where you were unsure, stretched, and just trying to do your best. And yet you're still here. The way you handle things might look different now. You have grown, you think differently, you move differently, but one thing has stayed the same. You always figure it out. So if you're in a situation right now that feels uncertain, do not forget you're not starting from zero. You're moving towards something with experience, with growth, and with resilience. There's a quote. I don't know who is the author of the quote, but it says, "Everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end." And that's just a good reminder to me and maybe to you that everything is going to work out eventually. It might not work out the way that you think it will. It might not work out in the timing that you think it will, but everything is going to work out. And if it hasn't worked out, there's still another opportunity, another chance. It's not the end. You still have time. God, for one, still has time to do work in your life. So if you're watching this when it first gets published, it is currently Holy Week, the week leading up to Jesus's resurrection, which is a very special moment for Christians because it's just a reminder that the story is not over. It's not the end. He rose in 3 days. So my message just about how if he did it before, he'll do it again, really just ties into God's faithfulness and his trustworthiness, and that you can trust that he is going to get you through your situation. Again, it might not look how you think it's going to look. It might not take the time that you think it might take, but it's going to be a part of his perfect will and his perfect plan for your life. So today I wanted to read out of Hebrews, and I have this handy dandy Bible that I got this year, and it really goes in depth on what the chapters are about. The books are about, and what the chapters are about too. And it goes deeper into the verses, and it's really insightful. I used to have an app for something like this, but I think just having this all in one place is really helpful, and I can take notes. This is not sponsored, but I think it's a great resource if you are trying to really study the Word of God. So I wanted to talk about Hebrews 13 and 8. But before I get into Hebrews 13 and 8, I want to just talk about what Hebrews is about in general, the book of Hebrews. So according to my Bible, it says that Hebrews has two primary reasons or purposes: to encourage Christians to endure and to warn them not to abandon their faith in Christ. So I think that's just very on brand for just how we have to remember that God is a faithful God. He's not going to let you down. Even when your situation looks like you're not going to get through it, God is not going to let you down. And one of my favorite pastors recently said that you actually cannot let God down because you're not holding him up. God's got that. He's taking care of you. He is your power. He is your strength. He's how you're going to remain resilient in your faith. So the verse that I wanted to talk about today is Hebrews 13 and 8 from the English Standard Version, which says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So as we were heading into Easter today, as I'm filming this video, it really did remind me that it's not over. So this is what I wrote additionally for my newsletter. So the resurrection is the ultimate reminder that what looks like the end is not always the end. Everything about the moment looked final. It looked finished. It looked there was no way he was coming back from it. And then everything changed. God is a God of a sudden. God is a God of suddenly. So everything changed. His power, his faithfulness, and his ability to restore did not change though. The same consistency applies to your life. If God made a way before, he will make a way again. If he carried you before, he will carry you again. Everything will be okay. And if it's not okay yet, then it's not the end. That goes back to the verse or the quote that I shared earlier. So overall, God is a faithful God. He is not going to let you down. He is in your corner. Once you put your faith in him, he is fighting for you, literally. He wants the best for you. So it is not over until God says it's over. If you have breath in your lungs, you still have another day, another chance, another moment to just give him all of your trust and know that you can get through the situation. So to bring this into a personal experience, I would say this year of 2026, the year of our Lord, I had to make a very tough decision. And it was a decision that didn't make sense, and it kind of still doesn't. But I knew that God was telling me to do it and that I just had to trust him and everything was going to be okay. So stay with me. Or it might be all over the place. I don't know yet. But basically, for a few years, I've been doing some contracting work. And this year, my life has pretty much just been so busy. I am a full-time student taking 13 credits. I have a job. I have a business. I serve in my church. I have a social life. So I would say 4 out of those 5 things are new for me for the year of 2026. Last year, or I guess maybe 3 out of 5 are new. But last year, my social life was just not as busy. My church life just was not as busy. Definitely didn't have as much school workload or didn't feel as busy. And I also really wasn't in my business like I am now. So just a lot of shifts and changes, and my capacity for a lot of things is just so much smaller now. And I have to really prioritize my time. Even making time for this video was God's will, because if I could skip and not post today, I wouldn't. But I know that there's certain things that I need to prioritize, certain things that I know are very important, like me sharing my experience and making content is actually at the top of my list for things that are important to me right now. So with that being said, I had to let some things go. And I had been contracting with someone for a few years, and this year I had to make the tough decision to let the contract go. It was about to expire anyways, but I ended it maybe 30 days early because I was really overwhelmed, and I was just looking at the list of everything I had to do in life, day to day, week to week, month to month. And I had to just really sit with the thought and idea of what is draining me, what is making me feel, what is burning me out the most, and what could I let go of. Now, ideally, letting go of money, I don't think anyone wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Letting go of just even supplemental extra money a month is now my finances have changed. So this was maybe 2 months ago, and I sat with the idea for a few days after a conversation that I had with them. So maybe 3 or 4 days I sat with the idea of resigning, if you will, and just thinking about the impact that it would have on my life and how my finances were going to take a small hit and whatever the case. I just had a lot to think about. So I prayed, of course, and I really just had tons of conversations with God about, is this the right thing to do? Because I don't want to, if you're not telling me to let go of extra money, then tell me now. Be clear and be loud, please. I need to hear you now. So ultimately, God gave me the decision to let them go. But with that, I honestly was like, God, I trust you. Even though I have no idea how that money's going to come back to me, I trust you. I just know that I'm going to be okay, that you are a true and faithful God. You're a trustworthy God. So I don't know how you're going to help me make up for that amount of money that I'm losing, but I know that you will. And I don't know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, but I know that you will. So ultimately, I did send an email, and I pretty much ended my services with them recently, actually. And I think the biggest testimony of this is that, so the night that I was crying and God, what should I do? And all the things, and just like saying, God, I trust you though, I went to bed I got in bed and I was on my phone, and before I closed my eyes, I got a notification. And the notification was literally someone paying me half of what I was going to make from the contract. And it wasn't too random, but it wasn't expected. And that was just and it was like for a service that someone needed from me, but it was a one-time service because I think that's my biggest thing right now. I cannot take on any additional long-term work, but this particular account notification, it was for a one-time service. And I was like, okay, great. And it was just my simple reminder from God. It was God speaking to me so suddenly and so quickly that you're going to be okay. Granted, it was a one-time fee, so it wasn't like I got immediately supplemented monthly, but that was God's way of just showing me and telling me, daughter, you're going to be okay. I got you covered. So again, just when you think it's over or you think that you won't be able to get through your situation, you have to remember that. So now whenever I'm in a next situation where I'm giving up something and just praying that God is going to still provide for me, I have to remember this situation, that this happened, that God is a God of trustworthiness. He is going to do what he says he's going to do in my life, always, today, yesterday, and forever. So now this story is a part of my continued track record of his true trustworthiness, that he is going to do what he said he's going to do. It's not over. He will indeed make a way. So that's just one small story of how God has performed a miracle in my life when I literally thought that it was impossible. And he comes through sometimes in the nick of time. But that's just going to also increase your faith too. Just remembering, you have to recall all the miracles that God has done for you. And that's genuinely going to help you never lose hope and never lose faith. Because if he did it before, he'll do it again. I feel like I've said that so many times in this video, but it's so true. If he did it before, he is going to do it again. No matter what it looks like, no matter how deep you're in something, no matter how low you're in something, no matter how depressed you are, no matter how anxious you are, no matter how financially unstable you are, no matter if you don't have a job right now, no matter if you are going through custody battles, if you're going through just so many different things in your life, God, if he got you out of the last situation and you came out victorious, just believe that he will do it again for you. And it might not look the way that you think it might look, or it might. I don't know. God can surprise us sometimes. So just keep your faith and just always keep your hope. I hope that really does encourage you as we move into the week of Easter, and just how we're remembering that the tomb was empty. It was not over, and it's not going to ever be over for you until you lose your last moment of breath. But as long as you're living, as long as you're able, God is going to come through. You just have to trust and believe. So I hope again that encouraged you, and don't forget to subscribe and like and share, and I'll see you on the next video.